In the cold and in the rain at Spartan Stadium, it looked like MSU had a surefire win. But in a crazy day of college football all around the country, Nebraska made it a lot closer than a lot of Spartan fans had envisioned at halftime. I'm Geoff Preston.
I'm Bondy.
MSU did end up topping Nebraska 27-22, but a furious fourth quarter comeback by the Huskers really kind of put MSU in a little bit of a predicament, if you will. I mean, it was score ended up being pretty close, obviously only 5 points. And I think I've seen this movie before, because this is not quite exactly what happened at Oregon, but late game lead of, more than just a touchdown. MSU gives it up. Coach Markantonio talked a little bit about that in his press conference, if this is kind of becoming an identity. And Robert, do you think this is becoming an identity for the Spartans to kind of let teams back into games?
I don't think so. Markantonio did say that, it's uncharacteristic for one of his, his teams to be doing this, and they haven't done that as much in the past. Now, obviously, team catches fire like Nebraska did. You get a punt return for a touchdown. You get some turnovers like they did. It becomes a game, It just seemed like it was one of those days where, down the stretch, anything that could go wrong went wrong for Michigan State. Geiger's field goal that would put them up 8.
Right.
Hits the post and the bottom bar. So, it's like anything that seems like could have went wrong did go wrong down the stretch. More importantly, Michigan State does come out with the victory. And I think that's the thing you got to take away from this the most. They all count as one, as, Connor Cook said after the game. And while he and a lot of the players really weren't smiling after the game, they will, take it as a win, and a win that they needed to get.
You could kind of tell, though, that this was a win that they would have been obviously a lot more pleased with had the offense played better.
Yeah.
Let's listen to Coach Markantonio right now talk about the kind of identity of his team and where he sees that.
It's uncharacteristic of us when we do get a lead like that to let people back in. That's uncharacteristic. That has not happened. But it happened. So we got to deal with it and learn from that and learn how to stop it. But when you got your hands on the ball, and it's probably an interception, maybe for 6. The ball pops through your hand and floats into somebody else's hands. That's a tough one to deal with. But you got to deal with it. You got to get back out there and you got to play. And you got to be able to. I believe you got to be able to reaffirm who you are. We knew there'd be adversity. We talked about that all week long. Just didn't know it'd come in the last 3 to 4 minutes like that. Great punt return. We knew the guy was a great punt return. The ball went flat. She punted out of bounds, and he busted it. And, all of a sudden. In 4 plays, 3 and out, a touchdown, 3 and out, and another play, a punt return, all of a sudden they're right back in the game. So, but like I said, we didn't panic, we just had to bear down a little bit, and it worked out.
One thing that was unusual about this game is the play of Connor Cook, because obviously he's been such a steady force in this MSU offense. Really kind of he struggled today. I mean, there was a question asked that I think kind of put it into perspective pretty well. It seemed like he made some NFL caliber throws, but then there were some throws that you just kind of go, how could you miss that? This isn't the Connor Cook that we know.
It definitely kind of felt like that today. Give like Markantonio and a lot of the players even said, give Nebraska credit. That's a good team.
Yeah,
they're
a good team.
They're not. This isn't Eastern Michigan. It's not Wyoming.
No.
They got pressure on him. They got in his face. They had players. Even when Cook was making those balls, you said they were NFL caliber balls. They're NFL caliber balls because the coverage is so tight.
Coverage wasn't the issue.
Give credit when credit's due there. Obviously the weather wasn't great. Cook wouldn't say that was an excuse if you asked him, but there were reasons I think that you could make an argument that yes, obviously he wasn't playing his best game, but give credit to whether it be the weather or to Nebraska, and maybe that's the reasoning behind it.
I think I know the answer to this question, but you don't think that this is any kind of concern going forward for the Spartans?
I don't think so.
I certainly don't.
I don't think it's a concern at all. Personally, I think this is a win that it's a win like Cook, coaches, all the players said, take it tonight, you enjoy it, and then move on from it. They got Purdue, Indiana, and then Michigan coming in. Those are all games they'll be favored in. And then after that, you got to bye in Ohio State. So if they can, take care of business like they should, going into Ohio State, you're going to have a big game that, once again, if you're Michigan State, you're going to be playing for national relevance. And in a day like today where, saw a lot of top teams going down.
It was a weird day, man.
This is a big day for Michigan State football. They took care of business, and that's all that matters.
Let's hear the players talk a little bit, especially Cook, about his performance today.
Obviously as a defense, we made a statement. Defense played, tremendous from start to finish, but I feel like as an offense, we did not play well. Including me. Obviously, the completion percentage has to be up. We got to execute the run game. I've got to execute the pass game. But I feel like defensively, we took like 10 steps forward. Offense, we kind of took a couple steps back. But that's why there's next week. That's why there's, the week to improve. And we'll get in the film and we'll correct our errors. We'll execute a lot better and develop a better game plan for next week. And we'll be ready to move on.
Well, as Robert said, it's kind of survive and advance right now for the Spartans. Nebraska, arguably the hardest game on their schedule going forward from here, from last week. And now they did get the win. It was ugly, wasn't always pretty, but they did get the win, 27-22. MSU will be going to Purdue next Saturday to take on the Boilermakers. That's a 3:30 p.m. kickoff. That's all that we have for here right now. We'll be back later in the week to preview that Purdue game a little bit. Until then, I'm Geoff Preston.
I'm Robert Bondy.
We'll see you later in the week.